I hear this little riot thing that they got going on down there, right? Antifa and all this. I ain't gonna hold you. I didn't even look into it. I really don't care what the nature is of it at this point. I felt like that it's just imperative to come on here and to let people know, because a lot of times when we feel like that things are connected to us, that we'll go to the extent to drive to these cities and to partake in it. So I want y'all to remember that history repeats itself. We seen with the Brown situation, we seen with Trayvon Martin situation, how they have these undercover bots and these agents in the midst trying to sabotage something that was supposed to be peaceful, um, something that was supposed to be productive, and sabotaging it is the opposite of productive. So there's a lot of counterproductive things that happens from agents, agent provocateurs, that appear in the mist. So you had undercover police, undercover detectives, all kinds of alphabet agents who are dressed in all black, and they will create violence and destroy buildings and make it seem like this is just the organized community coming together and doing this. Because what happens is now you're saying that the public, we the people, are uncivilized, and the government is justified in taking extreme measures and taking away the governmental power from the people, because it is the people who empower the government and not the government that empowers the people. But then the government can play the reverse role by making it seem like the people's incompetent, and then therefore take that sovereign right and that authority that the people have to remove public officials out of power to make judgment and decisions about things that they're trying to create. Take the power from the people to have influence over the policies, the regulations, the annotated laws that get passed, the ones that are constitutional and unconstitutional. You do that by making it seem like the society is dysfunctional as a collective, menace to societies. And if you make the masses seem like menace to society, then you can say that we are the last sane people, and so that we have to activate FEMA. We gotta come together, sit down with the American Psychological Association, and try to come up with some strict rules to to override the Constitution, because the Constitution failed. Well, the people who supposed to be upholding the Constitution has failed. This generation has failed, and that's what the objective is. So this is the reason why they put out these movies. They endorse and push the money out so that we can become programmed to actually think that just walking down the street, jumping out of a moving car and crashing into a building is okay. You know what I'm saying? Innocent people getting shot is okay. Making music, making video games, making movies, all entertainment showing innocent people dying is okay. Kids disrespecting parents for no reason is okay. Parents abusing and molesting kids is okay. Make it into a comedy, make it into a sitcom, so that your conscious, so that your subconscious can feel convicted, and then now it's suppressed because subconsciously what you're laughing at is wrong, but your conscious doesn't care because it has now been capsulated. And if the subconscious becomes control as a rap, so now when people are dying, you're desensitized. When somebody's getting bullied, you're desensitized. When you hear your neighbor's getting raped, you don't care. When a man comes out and start beating on his wife, you don't even do nothing. You walk across the street, if anything, like a punk. You understand? Because of all of this social programming. So all of this is related to even the things that are going down there in Atlanta. Like I said, I didn't even look into it. I just seen a couple of videos when they talk about anarchy going on and stuff like that. I don't even really need to look in it to know that there's going to be a conspiracy involved. If it's not, they're going to, if this was something naturally organized by the Atlanta people, which I don't believe, and I'm gonna get into the reasons why, um then they're going to try to take advantage of that. And what I mean by they is the evil forces that work within the government, because not all the government is evil, and we're at a divide. And it's so about time for the people to stand up and become sober so that they can empower the people that was in the government to remove the people who are in the government that are counterproductive to our society into God's will by any means necessary. So another thing that I wanted to point out is the fact that Atlanta is a hub for a lot of black people. It's a major hub for black men and black women and black culture. It has become the hub. Has been the hub for about 10 years for the art center, cinematography and music, Christian and commercial music. It has been the major hub in fashion as well for black people. You know, it also has become a hub for homosexuality and abominable behaviors and things of that sort as well. But the majority focus here is the fact that it is a major population for black people. And all of a sudden here in Atlanta, you have all this anarchy and you have all this crazy stuff, Antifa and all this stuff is going on, right? So imagine now that they try to shut down Atlanta. So what businesses are going to be affected by this? It's going to be the majority of black people. Who are the people who's going to be suspected for all of this? It's going to be majority black people. Who are the people that's going to be targeted? Majority of black people. But who did you see in all these videos? Who was the majority of the people that you seen, huh? They were majority white people. At every protest, when you see violence start, it's always white people in black masks and black outfits with ski masks on. White men. Punching people, throwing cocktails, semi-automatics. They're the only ones that can walk down the street and just hop out and don't have to disappear with those type of weapons. You understand what I'm saying? They're the only ones that could just be kicking down the White House door, kicking down the Congress door, the House of Representative door. You know what I'm saying? Walking on. By the way, listen, you can't even walk on most of this property. You can't freely walk on certain properties in Washington, D.C. without having a pass there. So how did you make it to the yard? I know this for a fact. You understand me? So what is going on here? Do we see another situation in Washington, D.C.? And oh yeah, by the way, Washington, D.C. used to be a chocolate city, right? And this is what they used to do in Oakland, the riots in Oakland, remember that? But the majority of those people wasn't black. It wasn't conspired by black people. BLM is not ran by black people. Unless you want to try to point out the fact that those two black women are lesbians. Lesbians, that's not black culture. Two women cannot produce and keep a black society going. So that's not black power at all. That's black disempowerment. It looks like this is what happens when you take the alpha male out the picture, the women go gay. You understand? And then the man that's funding them is a white man with all his millions of dollars. And every agenda they had was counterproductive to the black people. And by the way, we saw none of that money, none of those millions of dollars that was go funded to that organization. We cannot audit because there is nothing to audit. You ask questions, they have no answers. Where did all this money go? Right into their pockets. I watched it. I watched small little organizations. I even watched black people do it. Create little GoFundMes during the time of Trayvon Martin, Brown, and all them. You understand? And then just pocket the money. I seen these demons out here. You understand me? So as a collective, I want people to understand, man, don't get caught up. Don't get caught up in this garbage that they got going around here. These are not, let God do his work through those forces, but separate. Learn how to take advantage of what's happening and to protect yourself. Taking advantage doesn't mean I'm going to go run in the crowd and I'm going to start throwing rocks at the building. No. Taking advantage like fasting and praying, starting up businesses, you know what I'm saying? Start looking at businesses who are about to shut down because you need to start paying the tax deeds and tax liens. You understand me? What? Take reports of who's getting locked up. You understand me? Like there's a way to take advantage of this situation. There's a way that you can get yourself caught up and be at the disadvantage. If you know that they're trying to set up people, then okay, is there something I can do to counter that? And if there's something I can do to counter that, then that's something I need to pay attention to. There's always a strategy. We are at war, and I'm proud to say it. But I want the people to be on the winning side. And when I say the people, I'm talking about every single body. And we know that racism still exists in America, you know, but the majority are not racist. And we are not about to subject ourselves to that. We are not about to subject ourselves to that, you know. So just pay attention to what's going on. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna hold you too long. I just want to check in real quick because it was just on my heart. And I'm gonna touch back on this subject matter. But like, subscribe, and share. And you got any questions about what we should do and what could be done and what is feasible, by all means, you already know where you can find me at.